Good morning, everyone. Jean Lynn Catherine Carlson here. I don't know, I'm saying my childhood middle name, Jean Catherine Carlson here. Vibrant Living Alchemist, waking up on a rainy Tuesday in California, still in shelter, still in sanctuary, still in solitude, and still playing with this idea that we talked about yesterday, about the quote that I shared yesterday, I am too alone in the world and not alone enough to make every minute holy. So still playing with this, in this place of creating a pandemic of love within and allowing that to go around, and also to create, to allow every moment to be holy, every moment, to allow every moment in solitude to nourish us and be holy. Now, I don't know about you, but I do know that for myself, there are moments, especially in the middle of the night, that kind of come crashing in, and the reality, the seeming reality of being stuck inside and not being able to just go out in my car and drive anywhere I want and go to the grocery store, go visit a friend, and the feeling of lack of freedom kind of got to me in the middle of the night last night. So I don't know where you are at. I just want to affirm that for all of us, we are going to hit moments, and whatever it is for us, it may be different. I'm sure it will be different for you because we're different people. But I know we hit these places that are like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. How am I going to make it through? And those are the times that we most need our tools. We most need to be able to trust that we have a strong foundation, that our house is built on a strong foundation. The other day, might have even been just yesterday, was talking about the parable of the house built on a rock and built on sand, and the one on the rock, built on a strong foundation, weathers the storms, and the one on sand does not. And sometimes we're like the house on sand, and sometimes we're the house on rock. There was another image, here's one of the things I like about images and sharing images with you, is that images and stories reach us in a different part of our brains. So when we do get to those desperate places, if we can connect with a story or an image, it nourishes more of ourselves and can bring us back awake. When we can remember our own story, our own touchstone of, oh yes, I remember there was another time when I felt like I couldn't take another step, like I couldn't make it through, and somehow I did. Somehow I found a way to survive and then thrive. When we can remember those stories for ourselves, then we are more resilient. So today I'm going to share, before we tap, I would like to share from this Fasting and Feasting 2020. And again, this may be backwards for you. Fasting and Feasting, it is a Lenten publication put out by Unity Church. They are based in Kansas City. And they do a spin on this. Lent is typically a time in the Christian church to fast. When I was little, it used to be on Fridays, it would be fasting from meat, and I think that's where Friday fish fries came from. And so Fridays was fasting from fish. Some people would choose something to give up for Lent. If you see a movie called Chocolat with Johnny Depp and I remember the lady's name, which is amazing. It's a wonderful movie, and it's set in France during Lent. And it is a marvelous story. It's well done. It's my favorite one that Johnny Depp does. And it is well done from the perspective of looking at how fasting, seriously restricting ourselves from pleasures, doesn't always work and has unintended consequences. And there can also be some positive things about it. So it's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. However, it is looking at the concept of fasting and how might we really let it serve us. So in this booklet, they have every 2 days, there's the one side of the page is on fasting from, and the other one is feasting on. So yesterday was fasting. I fast from being rigid. And it was interesting because they brought up an oak tree that has a single taproot that goes very, very deep. But evidently oak trees, especially tall oak trees, tend to, in severe storm, severe wind, tend to snap because they've got the one taproot. What was very interesting for me is when I read it yesterday, I thought, I don't know if that image really works for me. The contrast today did. The contrast is a weeping willow tree, and that's why I named this time to be a weeping willow tree, open to all the breadth of the resources we have available to us, even in shelter, even in sanctuary. That the willow tree, and you've all seen willow trees, are quite stately, and they are very wide. Their root system goes, I believe it says like twice as wide. The willow's roots are open to receive nourishment from all around. It's named for its boughs that cascade to the ground, and it spreads a mass of strong, smaller roots underground as far as, check this out, 3 times its width. So now when you see a willow tree, know that 3 times its width, that's how far out their root system goes. So when the winds come and is lashing it around, yes, the branches will get blown all over the place, and they will weep. And we will weep as we go through this and have various experiences that will bring us to weeping. And yet, with a root system 3 times as wide, we can be resilient. I love that word, resilient. So let's be resilient. What that means for me, I'm going to take it into human languaging now. We're not trees. We are humans, spiritual beings having a human experience. And as such, and as being in solitude, what I've learned over doing a lot of solitude retreats, and believe me, this solitude retreat is unlike any I've ever done. The longest I've done is, I think, 2 weeks. And that was by choice. This is like life goes on, but it doesn't. So it's really requiring, whether it's a chosen solitude, retreat of solitude, or this kind of solitude, it's requiring us to rely on all the tools we've ever brought together. So feel into that. What are the tools that your inner strength tools that you can rely on? There's compassion. There's being gentle with yourself. There's also being disciplined. There is also having a focus and inviting support from the angels, from the angelic realm, from the invisible realms to support you. There could be inviting dreams at night. There could be using essential oils to get you through the day. In the middle of the night when I wasn't able to sleep and I was so wound up, it dawned on me not until about 3:30 or 4 o'clock that I could put some lavender and eucalyptus oil on a cotton ball and sniff it and help my body relax, because essential oils help the body relax. Some of them are also really good for clearing the sinuses. Eucalyptus is great for clearing the sinuses. And so there are so many tools that I know you have. They may not be essential oils. They may be something else. Another thing is, if you have a rattle, sometimes rattling can help move the energy. We here on these calls, we've done tapping. You can simply tap on your collarbone. I did some tapping in the middle of the night, and just tapping on, even though I can't sleep, you can repeat after me. Even though I don't like what's going on, and I don't know if I can get through, and I'm scared, and I'm frustrated, and I don't even know what I am. And I can tell my body is not happy about it. And I want to love myself anyway. And you can just stay on the collarbone, or you can tap right on the back of the head. Sometimes lying down, if you're lying down on your back, there's like a little dent right in the little shallow area. There's that kind of like a bone that comes up here, or ligament or whatever it is, and then there's like a little narrow area. You can get if your arms work that way, you can just reach your arm up and just hold on to that. And a friend told me then, if you simultaneously put some fingers on this side, it helps calm the body down. So that is another not so much tapping, but another way to use our body for ourselves, another holding point, acupressure point. I think this comes from Jinshin Jitsu. I learned this from someone with that. So you can do this in the middle of the night. One other tapping point that I learned yesterday from Laura Long, thank you very much, was on right about here. There's the 3 going across. So we do the wrists, and then there's this. It's on both sides. So you could actually, lying in bed, you could even just hold yourself like this, and you could kind of squeeze gently, and that would get to those points. So there's all these things that we can do. Yesterday we rubbed, just rubbing this gently. You can do this in the middle of the night or during the day, and tap. So there are all these tools that I'm sharing with you, and all the tools that you have. You may have prayer. You may have a trusted friend you can call. Thank goodness the internet is working, and we have Facebook. Look for positive ways to connect on Facebook and to support each other through this. All of this is that is what our root system is. That is what our willow tree root system is. All these tools that you have, that I have, that we have. And together, you've heard this becoming cliche, we will get through this together. And that is true. And one of the things that I also want to remind us of is that inside we have to be together. I know that last night my inside was not together, was not behind being at peace and being relaxed. And I had to do a lot of soothing and getting to a place where I could invite my inner being, all of my parts. We have so many parts on the inside, and that's what comes up when we tap. We have a part of us that's scared, that's mad, a part of us that's terrified, a part of us that wants this to be over, a part of us that's really pissed off, a part of us on and on and on and on and on. And these are the parts when we tap that get to have, by the way, I did wash my hands before this, so tapping my face lightly, we do have these parts that want to speak up. And when they are heard, they have more of a chance of being quiet. And then we get to bring a sense of peace to our inner queendom, to our inner kingdom. So, be like a weeping willow tree. Be resilient. And as you go through the day to day, know that there are resources available, that this will come to an end somehow, sometime, some way. It won't go on forever. And somehow we signed up for this. I don't know the mystery of that, but somehow we were called to be here for this, or we wouldn't be here. My father, who is 96 years old and living in an assisted care facility in Rockford, Illinois, called me the other day saying he was making his virus calls. He sounded more clear and alert than I've heard him in a long time. He is modeling for me the importance of setting a purpose for the day, not just now, but anytime. So here's my invitation to you, and I'll visit this again tomorrow and see where you are with this. I had this idea when we first started into this, and then I kind of lost it, and I personally haven't done much on it. And that is, this is a time where that is an unusual time. It is not business as usual. All I will say, the first week I was quite busy. We have a chance to look around our places and say, what has been undone that I've been saying I want to have done? How could I compassionately, gently, yet in a disciplined way, invite myself to get involved with something in my own life? And if you're doing something like that, would you please share? Because I would like us to inspire each other on ways to move through this. And on the other side of it, we look back at it and say, you know what? I was as awake as I could be in that time. And I am glad I showed up for it. And I'm glad my inner parts came together to show up for me. So let's see, it's 8:36. Let's take 5 minutes to tap. Maybe 7. So on the karate chop. And before we do that, let's breathe together, breathing. And letting it go out to the bottom of the breath. And now on the karate chop, even though there's tremendous fear about getting through this, even though there's this anxiety, and I know anxiety lives in the mind. There we go. And right now I can't turn my mind off. Oh yeah, okay. And I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself and this busy mind. Let's shake that out. Feel into that. If that's true for you, feel into that mind, that anxiety. All of our worries, concerns live in the mind. The mind then lets them live in the body, which creates challenges for the body. When we can clear the mind, calm the thoughts, choose better thoughts, then we create a new biology, a different biology in our bodies that is more resilient and resistant to everything that comes. So, 2 more times on the karate chop. on the karate chop. Either hand will do. Even though there's this anxious mind running amok, taking me to really dark neighborhoods, and I don't like it. Oh, I guess I needed that. And I choose to love, honor, and accept myself anyway. Even the anxious mind. Shaking that out. And one more time on the karate chop. Even though fear and anxiety is active in my mind, I want to find a way to dissolve these thoughts and choose ones that feel better. And shaking that out. Oh, okay. So again, I know we've been told not to touch our faces. I live alone and I'm in a safe environment, and I washed my hands, so I feel comfortable to do so. You take care of yourself. If you want to just tap on the collarbone and tap on the wrists, you can do that. I think tapping on the top of the head is fine. You can also tap right here. So choose tapping places that work for you. I am going to take us through a typical round on the body and be responsible for your own well-being, and you can choose which points to tap on. So beginning of the eyebrows, tapping lightly. This anxious mind on the outside of the eyebrows, it keeps me distracted under the eyes. It keeps me from doing what I say I want to do under the nose and on the chin. It keeps me stuck on the collarbone. It keeps me paralyzed and on the wrists. This anxious mind, all this anxiety, so much unknown, feeling so alone under the eyes, even though I know we're all in this together. Under the nose and on the chin. Being with family all day is challenging on the collarbone. Living alone is challenging on the wrists. It's downright challenging for everybody. On the top of the head, and sometimes it gangs up on me in the middle of the night. Okay, shake that out. Oh, and yawns are good. Some people burp. Some people feel energy up and running up and down their bodies. All of that is fine. All of this energy available to us when we release it. Again, remember when we're in anxious mind, the amygdala, the limbic brain is activated, and then we don't have as much availability to the neocortex. That's what we need right now, to access the resources, the tools, to remember we have tools and resources like a willow tree. We've got to have access to our prefrontal cortex. So this is calming that down. When you feel the yawning, when you feel the energy moving, that means that the energy is starting to move, and then we're more like a flowing river, and we can enter things with more ease and grace. So Do it again. One more time on the karate chop. See how you're feeling. I'm going to tune into myself right now. When I started, I was probably at about an 8. Oh, as far as that crazy mind thing. And now I'm probably, I'm looking at a 6 or a 4, somewhere in there. So we'll round it up to a 5, make it a 5. So when we get to a 5, we can start looking at possibilities. So on the karate chop, even though there's this anxious mind and I don't know what to do about it. Oh, hello. Yes, I do. I'm tapping. And I want to find a way to love and accept all of me. Even this anxious mind. Okay, shaking that out. Okay, beginning of the eyebrows. All this anxiety on the outside of the eyebrows. Sometimes I get a glimpse that it could be different under the eyes. I like to be more, have my mind active and my body relaxed. Under the nose and on the chin, I like to have my mind active in a healthy way. On the collarbone, I like to have my mind active and my body relaxed. On the wrists, I gotta change my thoughts. On the top of the head, being in a dark neighborhood in my mind doesn't serve me or the world. Beginning at the eyebrows, I know that sometimes I can choose better thoughts. On the outside of the eyebrows, like, what if I choose love over fear? Under the eyes. What if I look at my day? Under the nose and on the chin, and choose what would feel best for me to do this day. On the collarbone, even in solitude. And on the wrists. What if I connected with a friend? What if I choose one task that's been asking to be done and do that? On the beginning of the eyebrows, I have so many tools that I could use for this. And on the outside of the eyebrows. And the anxious mind says, no way. Under the eyes, you gotta stay scared. You gotta stay anxious. Under the nose and on the chin, because when you're anxious, you're more alert. On the collarbone. More alert is what I want. Let's see if we can be more alert and less anxious. If I'm less anxious, maybe I will be more alert. Beginning of the eyebrows, it's worth an experiment. Less anxiety, still alert. I choose to know that everything I need will come to me. All the breath I need, all the oxygen I need is right here, right now. Right in this moment, everything I need is here for me. Right in this moment. And I can hold on to that. Shaking that out. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for tapping. That was about 20 minutes of tapping. That's great. The more you tap, the more we get that energy moving. So now, to bring the tapping to a close, putting your left wrist into your right hand, wrapping your fingers around and squeezing it, and just saying, let it go, let it go, let it go. let it go, let it go, let it go. And then breathing in, and on the out breath, say peace. Peace. I'm going to leave you with a prayer today from Tosha Silver. This is a prayer at the end of her book, It's Not Your Money. And it is a prayer for these days, I believe. And it goes like this. This is a prayer for, we talked about creating a pandemic of love. This is a prayer about opening up to love, flinging wide the portals of your heart to love energy, so that it strengthens you, creates more resilience in you, and then allows that to ripple out into the world, into your world, your immediate world, and out in the beyond. It's energy. It knows no walls. It knows no boundaries. You can actually help your neighborhood. You can help your neighbors by imagining this love rippling out into the world. First, loving yourself and being gentle with yourself. Now the prayer. Dear Lord, help me trust that there is a plan for beyond what I can see through my veil of fears and illusions. May I move in harmony with your flow, knowing in every moment all needs will be met and you alone guide me. Fill me with your nourishing and extravagant love. Fill me with your nourishing and extravagant love. I am yours, you are mine, we are one, all is well. And with that, I leave you to your Tuesday. May it be terrific. May you discover new tools, and may you remember your tools today, your resources, to be like the Weeping Willow, where you can be resilient and withstand this current storm that is moving through our globe. May you be well, and I will be back with you tomorrow around noon. Please join in if you are so inspired. And if you're listening to this on a recording or live, many blessings. Reach out to me, private message, if you would like additional support. Thank you so much.